All right, hello and welcome back to another Wednesday live show. It has been a crazy week for most people here, so I hope that it's a little bit calmer for everyone else in the world this Wednesday. With me, I've got my wonderful disembodied voice over in the corner there.
Hello, everybody.
My partner in crime, Miss Flo, the painter Flo.
Hello.
We got our moderator joining us today, Mr. Paul, moderator Paul in the chat and in the StreamYards.
Yeah, hello.
And then our wonderful special and returning guest, Miss Naomi of Sword and Steel. Thank you so much for coming back. I love
Thanks
it.
for the invite. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love talking hobby.
Me too. Actually, it's really nice because this week it's been so difficult to disengage from like normal life stuff where it's like, oh yeah, hobby. Like you get to just relax and enjoy this thing that we do for fun once in a while.
Been there.
But you get to balance it because you also run a store.
I'm basically hobby 24/7. I'm yeah.
Does it ever feel like work?
Well, it does. It has sometimes. Sometimes there are some more difficult people to interact with, but more often than not, it's fantastic. Today was a fantastic day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some people all the way from BC, which if you know anything about Canada, if I am here on one side of the country, they were from the absolute opposite side of the country. And they really wanted to come and visit. So that was really nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. They'd heard of your channel then before coming over?
They had just recently, but they'd heard of Sword and Steel from word of mouth somehow.
How fun.
Possibly from the internet?
They had to visit. What was that?
I said possibly from the internet.
Yes. Yeah, that would be right.
Oh, that's cool. Were they shopping for anything particular, or is your store becoming the attraction?
Both. But one was just getting into 3D printing and Dungeons and was really decking out his Dungeons and Dragons den. He showed me pictures and it looks great. And he had never seen so many paints in one place. So he was like, I need to try this. I need to try this. And he was talking to me about them wherever he was in his spot. There was like, I quote, 10 army painter paints in the local store. And I'm like, oh, so sad.
Yeah, that seems a little rough.
So he was like going to town in the Turbo Dork section, in the AK section, and the Vallejo section. I'm just imagining him wandering around, and he's trying all sorts of different things. So that was a lot of fun to interact with today.
Well, and you can always refer to your guides on how to use some of at least the army painter stuff. I know you've got those
that's
guides.
right.
Yeah. Cross promotion there.
All right, so we have a question. What's on the painting table tonight?
Yeah, let's highlight Flo here.
I recognize that one.
Yeah, well, more pieces of tanks because this guy is still. Well, this is actually my second one I'm working on.
Wow, I like those scratches.
Yeah,
that looks so cool. Great.
Yeah, that edging. Good Lord. She's getting better. I'm not going to be able to afford her anymore. Thanks, guys. That was really good. Good job, Flo.
I have to make it look good. These are Ingrid Joe models.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, definitely bring your A game for that. What have you been working on, Miss Naomi?
I haven't been painting much except for priming. That's as far as I'm getting. Because
You're hired. Come do mine.
A real part of it.
I've actually been contemplating doing a video of how to use the different spray primers because I keep going back and forth between brands and I'm like, wow, you really need to. The method that you use for Vallejo sprays is different than the one you use for like Wraithbone. So I'm thinking of doing a video on that because there's such a difference that maybe people should know
get
that.
Monument paints there?
Monument paints. You mean is that
Pro?
I couldn't get a distributor for that. I have brought them in for myself so that I could try them so that I had because that's what I do. I hear about paints and I take them in and I try them.
So I've been using the Pro Acryl, the Monument primer lately. It's a super matte. I've really liked that.
I do see that's very nice and matte. For black, I still am happy with my Chaos Black so far, and I've also tried the Bio Black primer, which is really nice too. Easy for new people to prime with because it doesn't actually flow quickly.
Yeah, Chaos Black is very nice. I do like it. Monument's cheaper. It wins
I have
price.
access. I have all the access to Chaos Black.
So, Flo, on the black that you showed there, is that an aerosol, like a spray?
Yes.
A spray primer? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
These are all done in the
try
same.
it.
These are all done in the same color. So.
Oh, here, let me solo lay you again, or put you up again.
Yeah, these were all primed in the Monument.
Okay.
Black.
I like the matteness of it.
No.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's surprisingly matte. I like that.
No, just some good quality stuff. My old Warcraft buddies in the chat. What's up, Skelger?
Hey,
Playing so much Turtle WoW. Come join me, please. We need
I
more
know,
people.
right?
And I'm having a great time. Way too much fun playing Turtle WoW.
It's funny. Newt is being the main tank for our guild now.
Mm-hmm. We were killing trash and Molten Core last night. It was the memories. Okay, for me this week. Jeremy. I've been working on the RPG mostly. Yeah, we got scooped into a sword and sorcery RPG using the Horde Wars system. Do you do a lot of RPGs, or do you get time for that really?
I once did an awful lot of RPGs, and I was I've been dungeon master. I've been a dungeon master for oh my gosh, how many? At least over a decade.
Oh,
probably 15 years. So, but I just don't have the time to do it nowadays. I have hopped into other people's campaigns. There was one that was great fun. He really, really, really wanted everyone to get involved in it, and it was an alien campaign. And it was a one-off, and it was so fun.
Oh yeah, no, the one-offs are amazing. Our event at Valhalla, when we have DM Scotty out, he has the most entertaining, excellent one-shot, or sometimes even like a 2-session kind of game, which is also quite a lot of fun. But you know, it's a short-term adventure. You don't have to be so attached to your character, and absolute banana stuff happens.
I tell you, in the alien game, you definitely don't want to be too attached to your character. I did survive.
Nice,
well,
nice.
Sort of. You know.
Oh.
I think I brought an alien along into the helicopter, so I probably didn't survive. But by the end of the campaign, I was still alive.
That's in a whole other act of the story. It's like it doesn't even. You made it. You, the player, made it.
So I'm dropping in a shameless plug of our campaign. The little logo I made for it, but it's on Patty's channel. On I think mostly Rumble. So they're streaming it if anyone is interested in watching.
Conquerors of the Wilderland Hordes.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess the Wilderlands is it's its own IP, just like Conan, sword and sorcery kind of motif, aesthetic. And then we're using the Horde Wars system, which is designed for slaying lots of things a lot fast, is my understanding of it.
As you would.
As you would. It's not a pacifist game for sure. So yes. Yeah, me infecting. Yep. Oh yeah, actually that'd be hilarious if the story carried forward, wouldn't it? So yeah, thank you, Voice, for sharing your shameless plug there. That'll be we'll actually be doing that again this upcoming Sunday.
Now I'm trying to unshare it. I'm trying to figure out how you do that. There we go. Good job.
I got you. Yeah, so hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. I know we're kind of meandering about here, but just say hi, Thomas Grable. We always love having you here. I'm sure you've been working on something gorgeous. He's like, an award-winning painter. He's kind of a big deal, but he hangs out with us anyway. Savage Brewski in the house. Welcome. Ty Bevington, thanks for joining us tonight. And Shale, and Brian, and Otto. all these fun people in here. What are you guys all working on tonight? Any hobbying happening? I'm looking at what people have been sharing over on the Facebook for what they're working on, but I want to hear about it. Let's see. So my brother and I just took delivery today of our first 3D printer. We've sold them at work for a long time. Now mostly mark forged composite and metal machines. This is resin, new to us. Oh, well, that'll be exciting. So, Miss Naomi, you recently got into the printing world.
I went deep, so deep.
What was that like for you? And I guess, how did you feel like just starting in with it? Was it pretty intimidating?
Well, so I've actually had a filament printer way at the beginning of when they weren't very good.
We still have one of them.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Yeah. So I tried that. Oh gosh, that was probably a long time ago. I don't remember when, but they're gone now. And then I had a couple years ago, I tried the resin printer for the first time, and it became in part of my pile of shame. It's right there. Because I couldn't. It was just too hard to get things off the darn build plate, and I had so much access to other miniatures that I was like, I'll get back to it eventually, and I never did.
You never did. Okay.
But then I've been looking at these STLs that have been coming along, getting so really, really good looking, and some unknowable person kept sending me really good pictures and even models of printed items, and then I heard about Trench Crusade, and I wanted to look into that, and I saw that Trench Crusade was something that required a 3D printer, someone handy with one, and I was like, darn it, am I gonna have to get back into 3D printing? And I was like, I don't want to get back into 3D printing. But then Alagoos was like, would you like to try our Saturn 3 Ultra? I think that's what it's called, Saturn 3 Ultra. Yeah. And I was like, but then that same person who kept sending me all sorts of 3D printing stuff was like, I could help you if you do get into 3D printing. And I took up that offer, and for the past 3 weeks now, my life has just been 3D printing, because the Saturn 3 Ultra is completely different from this Mars 3 one, which they don't even make anymore. The Saturn 3 Ultra, I can get things off the build plate just like that. And I was more prepared, and now I've printed, I've got a box about yay big of just the supports that I haven't done anything with, other than I cured them in the sunlight and just stuck them in a box. That's how many things I've printed, and I haven't got everything figured out yet. I'm still not very good at putting supports on, but I will say I'm better already than some of the pre-supported ones. We got to improve that.
That's good. Yeah.
Trench Crusade, if anyone is doing 3D printing for miniatures, Trench Crusade, particularly, I don't know why it is, but particularly the new Antioch, those are fantastically pre-supported miniatures. If you want to try to print something that works, they work. That's what you work toward. Just for.
What do you use to slice in?
So Elegoo's, when you get the printer, Elegoo has this software license that you try, and I've just been going with that. I don't know if it's the best. I don't know. It works.
Is it just Elegoo software?
It's called Voxel Dance Studio. Voxel Dance.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've got the Elegoo one. I've got the Anycubic and the Elegoo both. But yeah, that other one's a fancier one, that Voxel something. The best. Everyone seems to use a lychee slicer the most.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
A bunch of the Patreons I use, I can tell they use lychee slicer just from the look of them. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Lychee style.
I also had to
what is
download Chitubox.
Yeah.
Because some of the pre-supported stuff was only available pre-supported in Chitubox, so I'm going back and forth.
You're saying choo-choo box? That sounds made up.
No,
Chitu box?
Chitu
I
box.
think that's how you say it.
I think that's
now
what.
I'm second guessing myself.
No, I think that's what
Weird.
DJ uses. DJ uses Chitu box to.
Does he?
yeah.
Okay. Well, his still looks great.
He uses
I'm not
stuff.
making
I
it
don't
up
know
on
what
the
he
spot.
uses anymore. Let's see.
Well, he's talked to me about using Chitu box, so
Yeah,
that's
he
the only one
probably
I know.
does.
Yeah, I just use the Anycubic one. It works well for me. But
They're
yeah.
free programs, aren't they?
Lychee you have to pay a license for, but
Oh, interesting.
I would love to have the Saturn IV Ultra 16K. I've been looking at it. Saturn IV Ultra 16K has a self-heating bed. I'm in Canada. I really would like a self-heating bed. I've got two heaters to keep the silly resin heated. And they say 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, you definitely want 25 to 30 degrees. And in Canada, how in the world am I going to pull that one off unless I've got an enclosure and a heater in the enclosure and a heater inside the heater, inside the printer?
So are you using one of the like little heaters that heats it from the inside then, or are you using stuff on the outside?
So Elegoo. So I didn't realize it when I was trying to figure out how in the world I'm going to heat up my my resin enough, because I didn't realize how important it was to keep it heated. No, now, but at the time I didn't realize quite how important it was to keep the resin heated. And Elegoo has one that you can just stick right inside the printer, and there's this plate on the back of the Elegoo printer that you get when you buy the heater. It replaces that plate, so it's stuck right inside, and it's on the lid. It's on the lid of the Elegoo. But I want the Saturn IV Ultra at some point, the 16K one, because the lid just opens up, and I am in an enclosure. So how am I supposed to take the whole darn printer lid off when it's in an enclosure? I have to open up the self-heating, opening up from the front, and an AI that says, "Hey, your print's off. You should. I'm going to stop it for you. You want to probably come and check it." Oh, that sounds so great.
So
have you tried
But does it do it in the not the Batman voice? Why am I blanking on his assistant?
Here.
Alfred?
Alfred voice. Does he use the Alfred voice to tell you that?
I certainly hope so, because that would make it so much better.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you tried the water wash resin I mentioned?
I have not so far. I've just stuck to the one resin so I could learn what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, just with that resin. And then when I'm confident that my user error is at a minimum, I'll switch to the resin, so that I know that once I know that I'm doing everything right, I'll change the variable.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to change much at all. But like I say, I just been in England, of course, I have the temperatures, so water wash resin, it works in colder temperatures. So for me, that's why and it's just easier to clean everything. Just why I use it, because it's far more fluid than regular resin. Yeah.
So I assume that there's a lot
fluid, you say.
A lot with humidity that has to do with the resin and how it cures as well, I assume. And so that would be very different for us.
Yeah.
Well, I know DJ keeps his quite warm. Like there's still space heaters.
Well, yeah, we have the heaters and stuff specifically for wintertime and the likes, because we ran into issues of keeping the resin warm also.
Which helps inform when you buy resin and you have like weird effects of it, that it was probably a temperature related reason for the failure to cure, or it being weirdly like sometimes it can be weepy or just soft or whatever, or too brittle even. So it is a risk. As far as 3D prints go, since you are now into the world of downloading models,
just basically an expert.
Way too many models. Yes.
Well, I've posted in the chat, and it seems kind of contentious. So, what do you guys think? Does the idea of owning an STL count toward your pile of shame, or does it have to be printed?
Oh, it definitely counts if you bought it. It definitely counts if you didn't print it out once, which is why I've printed out most absolutely everything at least once.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's great.
Oh, nice.
Very
I
thorough.
say if you can't physically place it on the pile, then it doesn't count for the pile of shame.
We are like half and half in the chat. Like people are, it's back and forth. Like,
I mean, if you want to get real technical with it, then I'll say if you can put them all on one thumb drive, and you get to add that thumb drive to the pile.
there's
You'd have an
4,000
awful lot of
models.
thumb drives.
It just only counts as one. Just hear what Gimli still counts as one.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Brian agrees with you.
One thing I found with Trench Crusade, because the only one I've bought was is it the Baphomet Sorcerer? I've printed that about 3 times. It hasn't worked. The kind of book.
Which one?
I'm pretty sure it's called Baphomet Sorcerer.
Mm.
Sorry, I've opened another tab looking for it in my mini factory. It's the one, kind of the big goat head with multiple arms, and it's got a book in its hand as well.
I don't think I've looked at that faction much. Which faction is that? Is it the Sultanate? Because I haven't looked at that one.
It might be the 8 thingy as well. I know that's technical.
Technical
I'm looking
term
through
for
my
it.
mini factory, but yeah, that one's. I've printed a couple of others, but that one's failed a couple of times. I might have to reorientate it. But yeah, I've heard just great things about the actual Trench Crusade stuff. It's fine.
Now, is this true? Jeff just brought up the War Machine 3D subscription gives like 80 STLs a month.
Oh, wow.
I did notice that all the ads, because I've been on there so often, did notice all the ads about it.
Is it that many? That seems like a ton.
That is a lot. Well, that's got to count all of their terrain pieces too, I'm sure. But per month, I don't know, like new models?
That's still a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a really busy bunch of artists.
Yeah.
Seems a little taxing. So have you actually played much Trench Crusade? What got you attracted to Trench Crusade?
Well, more like my playgroup really wanted to try it out.
Oh,
and when I got a 3D printer, it was like, okay, let's do it. Also, it's really a minute amount of characters, so it'd be I just try all games that come my way. So the Trench Crusade rules were easy to find because to just get them online, and so Tiffany's gonna try it out with me. She decided on New Antioch, so even though I printed out all of the New Antioch, I was like, okay, you try New Antioch. I will try.
They have war gear, right? Where you can have a holy hand grenade of New Antioch.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure. But the fact that it's miniature agnostic means, you make it as you like it. So,
is Trench Crusade miniature agnostic?
Yeah. You have all the official miniatures if you want to, but it's miniature agnostic. So it just says in the rules, it tells you what your stats are and what their weapon options are, but their weapon options are so broad that you can basically add whatever you want. And then it tells you what size base to use for your model, and that's it. Yeah. I'm already got half official for my 7-headed serpent. Court of the 7-headed serpent. I've already got half official, half Beastarium miniatures, I think, and then a couple others because they have really nice sculpts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the sorcerer I mentioned. It was the Court of the 7-headed serpent. I've just sent around to.
Oh, the sorcerer. So yeah, the sorcerer. I was going with an alternative model for it, so I hadn't ever tried it yet.
I've got an altered version of it as well, so I've bought the official, but a couple of arms just keep failing. I'm not sure why.
I did just print off the knights, knights, and a couple of their chainmail were clipping off with the. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. So say New Antioch specifically is very friendly to pre-supports if someone wants to try out the pre-supports.
I'm gonna share this page that you just showed me, Paul. I think I am. Let me see if I can get it to load in the right screen. Hold on. Well, you'd said that you were
modified kit bash before printing.
Yeah.
It can. Some
Yes.
say specifically don't, but a lot of them have. But it's personal use, so they can be.
So I mean, to be fair, literally anything you get as a .stl can be pulled into. Like I use 3D Studio Max, so I've pulled STLs into there before and just modeled onto them or added models or subtracted stuff off of them. Like if you have 3D modeling skills, I mean, what is it, Blender?
Yeah,
you should be able to do that too. Like technically, yeah, you can do a lot of kit bashing before printing, so long as you know how to use a 3D modeling program.
Yeah, I'm going to. There's this video I just watched. Eric's workshop.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying it right. I know it's Eric.
Yeah.
And he was chatting about Mesh Mixer, I think it's what it's called, and it's literally a 3D software designed so that you can customize models together to make your own. That's how he was making his.
Yeah, I've got Mesh Mixer installed as well. Yeah, because some 3D companies, the release, it looks like one STL, but if you pull it in a Mesh Mixer and say separate, the model will instantly turn all different colors, and it's because when they've created it, they've made those intersections, and you can just pull them apart.
That's neat.
So
I haven't tried it yet.
It's Eric's hobby workshop, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following his. He's been making a 7-foot Titan.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed those videos. I haven't looked at them again, but I always enjoy.
Yeah, I've watched his videos for years. He's actually pretty cool. We saw him at Adepticon last time we were there. He's in one of the booths helping out somebody.
Brian,
when are you going to do more battle reports?
Well, Naomi has more friends than I do, so.
All right, starting a GoFundMe. We're gonna fly Naomi down, and we're going to make a battle report.
I'll go to Canada.
I would be down for that. I need to get my passport, but I would be down.
Yeah, I got my passport. I'll just go to Newfoundland.
So fly her all the way down to New Mexico, and
is it warm there?
It's over 100 degrees today.
And that is in Celsius.
30.
What is that in Celsius?
Really hot.
Let's see. What was it? 104?
As a high today, yeah, I think so.
Okay, so it's 40 degrees Celsius.
Oh,
40 degrees.
Yes,
that's unreal. No,
sounds nice and very baking.
It is very dry because we're a desert. So if you're in the shade, then you don't feel it at all. And then we're also like a mile in altitude, so it's also very thin air as well.
Let's see. So currently today it was chilly. So let's see, 14 degrees Celsius.
Awful.
It was 57 degrees today.
That's too cold for me. Is that really? That's how cold it was?
Bad.
That's terrible.
No. This is we're approaching springtime now, so it's starting to get warmer.
My goodness, little warmer. That's funny. Well, okay.
So
yes, if we were able to,
it is warm down here. Yes.
But if we were able to play together, I mean, we both play 40K, so we could definitely do that one.
Right. And I'm always down for games. I'm always down for games, but timing for battle reports. See, if I could play battle reports with myself, we'd have more battle reports. But I have friends who have jobs, and mixing our schedules together is rough. Even Mariette and I were going to last Sunday. We're going to have another little battle report for Bolt Action, but work got caught up with her, and we had to
reschedule.
Just work makes it difficult, and filming battle reports takes a lot of time, and then editing battle reports takes 4 times longer. So
oh yeah,
recording the game. It's a lot slower to record the game. You play different when you're being recorded, and then you've got to do all of the steps after that. Now, would you actually make a script, or would you kind of play it and just
No,
over it?
I don't even talk over it. It's all
You talk during the
figured out-
recording, right?
What's that?
It said you just narrate it while you're recording,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
I'll say what's happened, and then if it's like a newer game and I don't think that many people have played it yet, I will sometimes go over to like chat about a rule that might have been unclear during the period. Because most of my battle reports nowadays are like teaching people how to play. And that's what the bolt action battle reports would be on. But 40K battle reports, the last 2 I've filmed, the audio failed.
Oh, rough.
So I was like, well, that was a great game. Thanks for coming. But I've got new mics since then, and I figured things out. It's just life has gotten in the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's like you're playing a game. Most people play a game for fun, but if you're doing a battle report, like now it's kind of a work thing. Now it's kind of like a whole process, and now it's kind of unappealing. So,
well, it is an incredible amount of editing time because I want it to be good, and I do all the editing, and I am slow. All these years, and I should have gotten better. I've gotten better. I think it's the filming and when to close that camera. So like when someone's like, I can't decide what I'm doing, and I was like, I probably don't need to film that part. Close that. I've learned a lot of how to speed up my editing time, but my editing time for battle reports is days.
Yeah, so is ours. Ours would take quite a while. We would do a lot though. We'd record all of the moves, all of the die rolls. Then we'd go through and I'd do sort of a rough color correction on all of it to make it better looking. And then Miranda would watch the game, write a script about what happened, and double check rules. And then we would record her audio. We'd record her narrating it.
Get rules.
No, I've learned
everybody cheats.
That's just how that works. Like obviously not intentionally, but war games is just a lot of rules to remember. And sometimes you're like, does that interaction work that way? And just for the sake of getting the game done, you'll be like, I think it's this way. And then later you're like, it was not that way.
We'll even stop and look up rules just to try to make sure we've done it right.
Yeah.
And you still get to the end of the game and you're like, oh yeah, we forgot all about these and this one.
Well, that's, oh my gosh. So Acton Panzer is a tank only version of bolt action, and it is great fun.
Oh, that sounds cool.
That rule book has no way of you figuring out where it is quickly. So we're regularly like, where was that rule again? And we have to page through. So, oh my gosh, just because, if it was just us, it'd be like, that's probably close enough. But when you're filming it and trying to show people this silly game, it's like, oh, we got to get this right.
Oh yeah.
Does that use the same scale?
Sorry.
Does that use the same scale as bolt
action? Yeah, you use the is it 56? 156 scale, and it's all you uses all the bolt action stuff, but it's just tanks. Your infantry and all of and artillery and all of that are like in cards that you can play down to complement what you're doing. It's I really like it because I've always been a fan of tanks.
Because the what was it, the little miniatures are one scale, but their tanks are a slightly different one.
Yes, that is.
And so so I guess it's just it's the same size board, the same terrain, just tanks though. That sounds really fun.
Terrain is very important. That's right. I'm also really excited about the 3D printing options for terrain because I scoured the internet looking for bocages. And I'm like, I don't have enough time to make all of these modular bocages, but you know what? I do have time now to print off modular bocages, so I'm gonna go searching for that.
I was gonna say, share with the class. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so bocage is part of World War II scenery in a very particular location during the war, and it's has very specific rules in Octan Panzer where you can just, if you can go through the bocage and it will actually just disappear in rule terms. So you want to be able to take the terrain out that's the size of your tank going through it. And and you can ambush your tanks as they're going through the bocages. And I just wanted to make a World War II setting, and it's so important, particularly for the UK. I'm the British, and she's the Germans. And Germans, I don't know how much you know about World War II, but Germans had the better armor, and I have got to protect myself. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah,
I have got to protect myself by any means possible, so that she can't just shoot me off the board, and she will every single time. Yeah, hedgerows.
Yeah, it says it is a French term that describes a terrain characterized by intermingling patches of woodland and pasture, small fields, and tall hedgerows.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'd see, in a lot of World War II movies, you see tanks will roll right through them. You'll see them just drop down off the road and cut through them into a pasture. In fact, what was it? Fury. There's a fight where they're rolling through those, coming across a pasture, and there's an anti-tank weapon hidden in one of the hedgerows, and they're having to charge it and try to take it out before one of the anti-tank rounds hits the tank.
If it was just for myself, I would soak a sponge in green paint, tear it up cheap and fast bocage, but I was going to do it for the channel, and I like things to look a little bit fancier than green sponge. I know.
Right. You have a channel to run. We got to be fancier than that.
Right?
You wouldn't understand, JP.
Why I was so pleased when Battlefield in the Box the Battlefront miniatures or Gale Force 9 created new terrain for Warhammer style or Warhammer size games, and I'm like, hey guys, because I chat with them. It's like, guys, you should make bocages for bolt action size. Just saying. And I just love the terrain that's already good to go.
You like the kind you just pull out of a box and it's already painted?
I paint so many things. I enjoy painting terrain, but there's only so much time I have in my life.
Do you have a pretty large terrain wall at your store?
Yes. I can. So it's like 10 feet tall ceilings, and at the last 3 feet is all various terrain. And on the table, because we have a table laid out so that people can see Warhammer in the process right now, it's Tyranids versus Space Marines on the table, is all of the Tau. Currently, it had the Basilica for the longest time. This Basilica built out of like 18 different Games Workshop kits.
Yep.
But I wanted to. Now it has the Tau Battlefield in the Box inspired terrain out, and it looks lovely.
Yeah, we picked up some of those for Valhalla, and Gale Force 9 sent us some stuff to sponsor a table, which I need to get my review up for them because it is nice. It is so nice to not have to paint stuff.
They're gonna send me some Eldar ones. I'm very curious what they are like.
Ooh, interesting. But yeah, 3D printing has definitely made the world of terrain so much more accessible, and it's so hardy. Like, I remember when terrain was pretty much all foam, and popsicle sticks and plastic card and all that. But I saw lots and lots of foam, and being able to pack something in a box that very likely is not going to break so much is really nice.
No, you just have a table decorated with like all kinds of rocks and structures with their telltale bright pink and bright blue highlights along the edges.
I still have some. I still haven't gotten rid of all of it. Still have a little bit left of that.
Well, it sort of fulfilled the need of, large, good size, especially for something like mountains or mesas and, rock features. While being also really light, they just transport like crap.
Did you ever have the Citadel gaming table that was like
The plastic
6
2x2?
big
Yeah.
things? I've got a couple of those that I don't even take out these days.
We never had them. Our local game store, I think AI or Active Imagination had it. Yeah, that's right.
Are they the ones? They're 2 foot by 2 foot, and they're a type of plastic that they did. Yeah, it's like a slush cast plastic that they did. I remember seeing a whole line, like product line of them at Adepticon back in like 2013 or something like that. But I remember looking at the back of it, and I was not familiar with slush casting yet, and I was like, how the hell are they making these? Just these big things. But they're very cool, very detailed, and very hardy.
Well, were they being made at the same time when you still couldn't pre-measure, though? Because there was a thing with that, right? Because you could kind of estimate distances because of the size of the pieces.
See, we always house ruled it that you could, because like Bolt Action actually has that sort of same right now. You can't pre-measure in the new edition of Bolt Action, but I'm going against Miranda. I'm going against Mariette.
We'll play Bolt Action together.
I will teach you everything. I'm going against Mariette, and she is quite new. I've got like 10 years experience on her for measurements, and it just seems unfair to me to go, because I can look down and go, yeah, that's 6 inches, or yeah, that's 24 inches, yeah, that's 12 inches, yeah, that's 18 inches, yes, you're within 3 inches. I can look at it and go, yeah, that's what it is, but she can't. And I'm like,
I was gonna say, that's
I don't think that's so we've always house
war gamer. So they know distances really well.
However, if you play against somebody who's been a carpenter, they'll know those distances very well.
They will,
without ever having played a war game.
I mean, I get that as a house rule thing if you're doing that, but it's kind of a cool skill to just have, like, to develop over time. So,
sense of dimensionality, which Naomi has developed quite acutely.
Yes.
3 feet I'm not so good at. It's only 2 feet. Well, actually 3 feet pretty good. Anything bigger than that I can't figure out. But when it comes to like 4 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, 18 inches, 12 inches, 6 inches, 3 inches, 2 inches, 1 inch, got just like that.
But you don't have your last gun distances figured out.
Last gun, I don't actually often do the. Well, I got 36 inches. Yeah, 36 inches too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got, obviously from War Machine, you couldn't pre-measure in Mark II for that.
Last cannon is actually what I mean.
Last cannon.
Last guns are 24 inch with rapid fire. Yes. Last cannon was the 48 inch.
And then plasmas are 36. Although I got my Krieg box, which I have yet to open. I have not played 40K, so I need to get back to it.
You haven't played 40K for 10th edition, or
no? I played a bunch in 10th edition. I just haven't played since like December, so I need to go back into it. I have my new Krieg box, and I should be excited about it, but I'm not, because I have to sculpt horse feet, and I'm not excited about it.
Oh yes, I remember the horse feet.
They're awful. Okay, they're just terrible, and I'm going to make it better, but I'm putting it off because it's it's going to be hard,
difficult, and time consuming.
So it just sits in a box. It's fine.
That's generally what happens to me in the hobby too. If I get stuck painting something, I'm like, I think I have this over here instead that I'll start on, and now I've got like 20 different partially done projects.
That's kind of the nature of the world of at least tabletop games now. I mean, it's the market has grown to where you really always have an option. So any pause you take, there's plenty of other things that want your attention. Like, how long have you had your game store now?
Well, since I have been part of the game store, because it's family business, so I've been part of it since I was a teenager.
Okay.
So how long? Well, I'm full into wargaming, more Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering when I was in my university years, but
Okay.
in the last decade and a half, 15 years, it's been
So you've seen the market
yeah.
grow like massively. What was it like when you were first playing? It was like, okay, it's Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, and then like some little things, and then you had 40K, and War Machine was around.
War Machine, and there was Warhammer Fantasy Battles
That's
at
right.
the time. I was around for when the world exploded.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I still remember we were, was it Las Vegas Open? The first one we went to was like the last tournament for Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
I know. It was like going to a funeral.
I know. Everybody was like, they were enjoying it, but it was kind of all like bittersweet and kind of sad because it's like, well,
It was like 7th edition.
that's it.
I hear Age of Sigmar's done quite well though. Do you end up playing that one?
So I played all versions of Age of Sigmar. I did try with Tiffany. We were doing Nighthaunt versus vampires. So like Brave Lords. And we tried that in smaller form for Age of Sigmar, the last edition. But again, I can do a lot of rules. I've got like 8 different games going that I was learning and also teaching other people, but not many people can do that. So I'm trying to focus it in on certain ones. So we tried Age of Sigmar, and I like it. Didn't seem like there was anything wrong with it from the previous edition. I don't know why they changed the previous edition. I don't think that was necessary, but I do like the new Age of Sigmar just fine. And I do like the fact that the Spearhead,
those boxes.
Spearhead. That one really is a smaller version of Age of Sigmar, taking out some of the extra rules like spellcasting.
That's like what Combat Patrol does, right?
Yeah. So they did do well to make that an easier game for brand new people to get into, and then they can move on into the larger game if they wanted to. Yeah, Spearhead is a really good game. I never actually tried much of Combat Patrol because when I read Combat Patrol, I was like, well, why don't we just play 500 of the actual game? Right. But I did try Spearhead just to see what it was like. And yeah, we kind of also went into the main game because when I reread Spearhead, it was like, no spellcasters? Do you want to play with no spellcasters? No, I don't want to play with no spellcasters either. So we kind of did a collage of Spearhead and spellcasters.
So house rules again, I guess.
Yeah. Got to play it your way.
But I mean, now we've got, because 15 years ago, like Kickstarter was like maybe not even quite around yet. Like you did not have new games getting built up every year and having these massive launches. I think Trench Crusade made 3 million in Kickstarter on its.
Yeah, it is crazy what new games can come out and have so much backing. I was
kind of even just disappear after. Like that's one of the things that has become a bit of a concern. I think you said when you were interested in Trench Crusade, you couldn't find a way to buy the models.
Well, that's because they don't allow it.
Weird.
They don't allow people to. They aren't allowing any commercial licenses because of the store. I like to also get the commercial license for the things that I print, other than just personal. A whole bunch of personal stuff, but I went looking for it as well, and then was like, well, if they're not printing miniatures yet, who's printing their miniatures? But they are not allowing anyone to print their miniatures unless you do it for yourself personally. And I'm like, but it is a miniature agnostic game, so you could just play with any of the miniatures that you have.
You can, but you think as the company, they would be like, we'd rather you play with ours,
I don't know where they're going with that. I mean, I think you can pre-order them for physical miniatures, but I really didn't know where they were going with that. It seems like you would want your miniatures everywhere.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So if Trench Crusade is listening, I'd take your commercial license just so I can spread your miniatures like you're not doing. I don't know what I mean. I assume they have a thought process behind it, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've got some plan. It's just we're not in on it. So.
It might just be like I remember Frostgrave when it came out. It was very miniature agnostic. It's like, oh, these are just generic fantasy stuff, and so they were just selling a book when it first came out for like a year or two, and then they were like, okay, we're making miniatures now. You can buy official Frostgrave miniatures, and I wonder
That's
if they're
true.
doing the same thing just
Maybe
with
that's so.
STLs on top of it.
Oh, I see.
I also heard that Asmodee is collecting Zombicide. I heard that today.
Yeah, I'd heard that recently for sure. So we'll see what that means, because I think that's Simon's biggest IP. Did you ever get much into Zombicide? That would seem like a really popular board game.
It passed me by. For when I was interested, it was really, really hard to get in Canada. So it passed me by.
If you ever make your way here, you're welcome to play a game with us.
I would, by all means, try any game. I'm very easy to please. And I pick up pretty fast.
Flo is super into board games primarily, so that's where Zombicide lives.
I have a lot of board games.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, no, Asmodee buying them. But even still, like you have these, I'm trying to remember some of the other major ones. I mean, I know Simon kind of would periodically have their crowdfunding for different types of games. I was all in on Wrath of Kings for a while. Do you remember that one?
Wrath of Kings. I recognize the name, but it's too generic. I never played it, so it's too generic for me to really remember what it was.
Totally fair.
Yeah, that name.
Kind of a fantasy-esque. Like, if you were to think of almost Final Fantasy-esque was kind of the vibe I got from it, but they had some really cool and interesting stuff going on. Yeah, Brian knows what's up. There's so many expansions for Zombicide, they could literally start using AI to write more, and no one would notice. I don't know. People are like, oh, AI is totally taking over everything. I still feel like most of it's very noticeable. But that's just rumor, Andrew. I don't know that that's actually like the case, but Asmodee did buy or is buying Zombicide.
Asmodee seems to be buying multiple things this year.
Yeah. And I mean, but there's been changeovers, right? Like Steamforged Games now owns War Machine and that IP, and they seem to be.
I like Steamforged Games' Epic Encounters series. They're great for dungeon masters.
Oh, okay, from the RPG side of it.
Yeah, they really have nice miniatures for easy. The Epic Encounters are D&D little adventures, but they have all the miniatures that you need in it for the little adventure, and the miniatures are pre-assembled, so you could paint them or you could just play them in their monocolored plastic. I try to keep Epic Encounters all the time in the store because I love little DM kits.
And those probably do all right.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, that's awesome.
Any dungeon master can take, like, they're compatible for 5th edition, but any dungeon master would be able to read the adventure and just convert it to whatever system they want. So it's nice. And all the miniatures in one handy little box that you can put the miniatures back into and just carry around this little box for your adventure. It's nice.
I remember when we were at Genghis Khan, they had a little adventure pack like that too, but it was all printed material, but it was like a whole town, and it was not attached to any game system, because they were like, yeah, just put it in your own system, but like they're saying just, oh, you meet an NPC, here's a card. The picture of the NPCs on one side, all the info's on the back. So as you meet people, you can bring it up as you do all this stuff. Like it was just like a whole city or a whole town and a population. And I think there were like quest hooks and everything in one little pack. And so like, I guess this is like the miniature figurine version of it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I played an RPG, well, I guess is now with Patty and Jeremy, but it's a different type of crowd for sure. And I oftentimes remember, I don't know, I like war games. I like the strong objective based stuff, I think. So
They're both nice. Having done all of them, they're both nice. Particularly that you can get a game done in one day and be done, and then a campaign you really rely on other people to get together. So sometimes it takes a while.
People are not reliable, and that is the problem.
That definitely can be hard. People got really used to not really getting together physically anymore. And then, what is it? Tabletop Simulator has done very well. Do you end up playing much online?
I've never. Well, I don't. Unfortunately, I really don't need to play online because I have so many playing groups. So I've never really played the Tabletop Simulator of any form online because there's always so many people who want to try some game, and I'm game to try any game around where I am. So
that's awesome.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's unfortunate. I'd say that's actually good that you can find a group to play lots of different things and actually keep up with people. I think that's really important.
For battle reports, I would have, if they were comfortable being in front of the world, I'd have a lot more battle reports. But most of my play group is like, oh yeah, I'll play, but not on camera.
Yep.
Oh.
Fair enough.
I'd be like, but our community is so nice. It'll be so great. It's like, okay, no. This would be like nearly, no.
Oh my goodness. Gamers on Games mentions, for those interested, Gamma went to Washington to appeal to lawmakers regarding toy tariffs.
Oh, I hope they get through on that then.
I do too. Yeah, I know that's been a major one because games aren't a commodity. And so like people, but a crap ton of people buy them, and it would suck to pay way more for your little board game, right?
Yeah.
Well,
we already had to pay extra for one of the games that we kickstarted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My government, my wonderful government, has made it really difficult for me because most of the very unique stuff that are in the store is not Canadian made because there is no such thing as what I make that's in what I have that's in Canadian.
Not a whole lot of manufacturers.
I'm smacked in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I got beautiful custom dice that I like to give to people who visit the store and who place orders online, so that the dice are little Sword and Steele dice. And I just got smacked in the face last week when it came in, and it was like, I'm paying how much? Sorry, how much is the customs? That must be a mistake because it's only I had to pay 50% of the cost of the dice for them to give them to me.
I feel like Australians are all like, now you know how it feels.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cries and tariff money. Well, I just remember that always being a thing for Australians. Anything you send to them, they get smacked.
Oh.
Yeah, the other funny thing I was going to say as well, so I remember texting it around, did people see the absolute mess up Games Workshop did with the last novel limited edition book coming out? That was funny. Decided to release, instead of a Saturday released it on a Tuesday, but at 10 a.m., but 10 a.m. UK time, but for everybody else. And then the website, it went from queue is paused, then the entire website crashed. And it was down like the entire day. I didn't know anything about this till Valrak put a video online, and Valrak's hilarious when he's kicking off about stuff. It was Valrak's video was dead good. He was like, "Whoever's the web developer, what is your job? What are you doing?"
On the phone with Squarespace, like, hey.
He actually said that. He goes, "You paid $10 million for this site, and it looks like Squarespace. What do you do?"
There's no way they paid $10 million for that site. You know, corners are cut on all of those types of things. Although I guess I did hear, I mean, for whatever credit that's worth, like GW is paying like $20 million in bonuses to staff.
Yeah.
For doing really well last year, I guess. So that's kind of, I don't know what that mets out to for an individual basis, but
yeah, there was one year.
You get $1.
Yeah, a guy I was friends with a couple of years ago. He was a manager of a small GW where he was the only full-time staff, and he was allowed one part-time. But he got, I think, he got a $6,000 bonus the last time they did that.
Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't suck.
But yeah, the caveat is that because it was how many staff you're allowed is actually based on how much money your store makes. And because he was a smaller store, he was only allowed one part-timer. So every time he had to go to the bathroom or go for his lunch, he had to shut the entire shop because it was him on his own.
Yep.
And his part-timer was only there when he had a day off.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if someone has a shop with 3 full-time employees, then their cut of that bonus is probably much higher.
Not sure. I think it might have just been the same.
I can see that too.
Yeah, but there've been plenty of times at Andy's store where I was teaching someone how to play Kill Team back in the day, the first one, and he'd say, "Can everybody get out because I need to go to the bathroom?" So we'd all have to go outside.
Everyone get out. I have a question.
Lock the door, and then just have to stand outside for a bit.
Oh,
And
man.
he's like, "Okay."
All right, everybody, mandatory smoke break. Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That was always funny. Yeah. Can you get out?
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, it's interesting with was it Nemesis that you guys recently backed, Flo?
Well, it's Nemesis that we had to pay extra for, yeah.
Okay. So, and that's definitely for sure what they're paying, right? That's not expected tariffs. It could get canceled later and then they keep that money or something.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Well, if what I've heard with the tariffs is they're happening, they're not happening, they're happening, they're on pause, they're changing. It seems so all over the place that is it just any given day, Naomi, you go to the post office and you're like, okay, I'm going to pick this thing. Well, I mean, for you, it's different, I guess, rather than here. But
so they already had everything printed off and ready to go, and they just needed to ship it over.
Okay. So
and then the tariffs hit, so they had to figure things out. And so we paid an extra 30 something, maybe $40 for shipping only.
Okay.
To have it shipped. So they've got all the things on their way to the US already. So they should theoretically have all of that monetarily figured out. Theoretically.
Now, Naomi, I assume that all these tariffs that you've been dealing with have not necessarily jiggered the Canadian economy into making local manufacturers?
No. Well, let's see. Pokemon US, Magic the Gathering US, and you know what? That's a little bit hard for Canadians too. I know Canadians have tried to make their own versions, but it's not the same as the official one. Now, I don't get it directly from the manufacturer because Wizards stopped doing that a while ago. So I have to get it from the distributors, and the distributors were and when you put it on the website, it's tariff applied, and you get to see all the new prices that have really gone nicely. But just last week, one of my distributors, my reps, was like, "I'm so excited to tell you that we were able to get this from the Belgian printer instead of the U.S. printer, so the tariffs aren't applied for this very particular product." I'm like, "Yeah."
So there are people who are like, "All right, I'll buy the game that does it. Okay, that one doesn't. That's out of Belgium. I'll buy that one. Whatever's affordable, because it's not exactly a cheap hobby to begin with."
How was Magic Final Fantasy do? So everything I couldn't get everything that I wanted. The distributors are really holding back, feels like, these days, because they can. But I didn't get everything that I asked for, and had to do some changes with the people who had pre-ordered, which is always great. But I was able. He tried to make up for it by giving me different product that would be even more better for the customers.
Oh, okay.
But it's already all gone in pre-orders except for play boosters. That's it. That's all that's left. but he was able to get me extra play boosters because I was like, hey, bud, you know how you didn't get me this really cool product that I really wanted and someone had asked for like 2 months ago? And he was like, yeah, I remember, but I've got this for you instead.
I love it. Andrew points out Ravage Star is Canadian, but because the manufacturing still out of China, it's still gonna get smacked.
Oh,
well, yeah. Do you end up having do you have Ravage Star at your store? Or is that just...
I'm going to, and I do have.
I'm gonna solo layout you there to see your mini. Ooh.
I've got this prime. Remember how I say I'm like priming lots?
Yeah.
This guy's primed. I'm going to be playing around with speed paints. I'm going to paint. I'm trying to go for a terrifyingly grim color scheme of flesh that's like bluish tone, purple tone, and I'm gonna try it on him first. And this is from Mini Wargaming and his Ravage Star. You can see on the bottom.
Built-in base and everything. And that's just how the mini arrives, right? You're not assembling, or did you have to assemble that?
Nope. This is I think a couple of them you had to like just glue to their base or whichever, but this guy came just as is. Some people are like, oh, how are you gonna paint that just as is? And I'm like, I can, believe me, I can do it, and I will show you how. So I'm gonna do some kind of creepy, grim, dark flesh tone to make them look so grim, because I went with Envy for the models. I'm going to go with Trench Crusade, and I don't know what Envy would look like.
JP
but
Rockets
Leviathan, the demon prince of Envy, is a sea serpent, so I'm thinking cold, like they're freezing from underwater and they're wet all the time, and I'm excited to try that color scheme. It's going to be hopefully horrifying. Somehow.
I was going to say a terrifying, tariff-defying demon beast.
Yes, that's all.
There you go. The injection molding for DP9. I missed that. What DP9 is? Done in Georgia. Interesting. So I got to meet his dad and sister when I stayed there in November. For Mini Wargaming.
For Dave.
Yeah. No, they've been pushing a lot of the Ravage Star stuff. So, Dream Pod 9. Okay.
Dread Anon. That name sounds familiar. I think I have seen some of his videos.
Huh. So painting wise, then you're fairly paint agnostic. I don't know if you got a particular love right now, or
So I have a smaller company called Bear Cavalry just sent me paints that I'm going to try out. Don't really know much about their quality yet, and then I've got Pro Aqua that I'm trying out, and then I also have the rest of the Express paints from Vallejo that I'm going to finish. So I did a video of all of their first line, and then I'm going to do another video showing off the rest of it, which is nice for 3D printing because I could just print off the same model on a print and have it there, and it won't cost me a lot because all those miniatures that are just painted in one color, I've got hundreds of them now. It gets pretty expensive. And I'm also going to be trying out. I'm going to be printing barrels and painting them all the same metal color, and then I'm going to be showing off all sorts of different streaks. So I don't have a love for one particular brand because they never do absolutely everything the best than anyone else. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. So Citadel's strength is their contrast paints, and AK Interactive's strength is definitely their AK 3rd gen paints and their pale colors. They beat, in their opacity, they beat all of the others. And Vallejo has fantastic metal colors for the airbrush, and their blacks are fantastic for anything. Their brush on blacks are really good for one coat wonder sort of thing. And the Army Painter, I really like their speed paints, and their airbrush paints are really nice. And their new line of AK Fanatics are almost comparable to AK. And and in some cases just as good as the AK 3rd gen, and then go back to Citadel for their washes. Their shades are really nice, and then AK has streaking grimes that I'm gonna try out. So I try everything. Oh, and Turbodork created brand new generation, improving on all of the feedback, and they tried really hard to improve them, and they're definitely improved. I have those to continue trying out. So all my findings are going to be over time, and I'm going to start printing out models just for testing. This is nice.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, now that's actually really, really nice too. Jared asked where people can get Bear Cavalry paints. I mean, he's out near Albuquerque where I am, but is it pretty much online only for them, or do you know if they distribute?
So they're starting to. I know that they were hoping to get a distributorship in Canada that I don't think has happened yet because they're quite new. So stay tuned.
Oof, what timing for a new business on that. Blue Flo.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be so hard.
No, right? Like,
oh
no. Flo, what reds are you using? Blue says, I'm painting a Spartan assault tank for Horus Heresy Dark Angels, and that looks so good.
So I am using, well, first of all, I'm using purely the Pro Acryl Monument paints.
Vallejo has good brush on primer. Oh, sorry.
The base color is the burnt red. And then for the highlights and scratches, I'm actually mixing together the burnt orange and a shadow flesh to make the burnt orange just a little bit brighter so it stands out. But I didn't want it to quite be as pink as the shadow flesh, so. Yeah, those are the colors I'm using for this.
Nice.
The darker bits that are along the edge are really just me adding some black to the burnt red, and yeah, that's all that is.
What are you doing to do the dark? Are you brushing that or washing it? What are you doing?
I brushed it and then I kind of dabbed out the ends of it to make it less potent.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that uses my finger to finalize the effect.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I love my folk art paint. You'd be surprised what you can do with them. You definitely can.
Yes.
We used the craft paints for years and years and years because paint was expensive. And
I felt like I got some really good results out of them. I painted most of that Kador army and my Signar army and
craft paints.
my Menoth army, all of that.
Yeah, I learned with the craft paints. It's just, if you can use better paints, they're so much smoother. And they have so much better coverage.
Who has a good brush on primer? I guess most of them are rattle cans, huh?
Yeah, Vallejo has good brush on primer. Particularly their new formula, Vallejo's brush on primer. Their black is absolutely fantastic and smooth. You should give it a shot.
Ooh. Okay, nice.
Goes on resin just fine. I know.
People are still painting old metals, and maybe that's the question. Let's see. Turbo Dork now CEO'd by former Steve Jackson Games. Oh, interesting. A lot of changes happening over there.
I also did not know that.
Yeah. Let's see. Resisted buying 30K Mechanicum stuff at Adepticon. Have you been to Adepticon? Well, no. You said you haven't gotten your passport yet. You need to go.
I know. I do. Yep.
One of these days. Let's see. Let's catch up on the chat here a little bit. Vallejo, got it. Any starter set you'd recommend?
I don't know whether there's a primer starter set. I think singly would probably be the way to go for primer. I can't think of any primer starter set.
Is it Tamiya or Tamiya?
Tamiya. And Tamiya, if you're following the way the Japanese works, and I say Tamiya or Tamiya, but I think it's Tamiya.
Probably right.
Tamiya.
I still call it manga, so just Tamiya, whatever.
She specifically does it to make people upset.
I still call it Japanimation.
Japan, yes. All right. So gamer knows what's up.
That's how I pronounce it. Am I doing it right? Yes.
You know what's up. Let's see. New color forge primers have been very consistent and go on very smooth color forge. Okay. And then, do you do much airbrushing?
Yes. Actually, I have an airbrush that I have to try out. It's by a company called Galeri. Galeri. I think that's what it's called. It's something like that. And I have to try it out. So when I'm in a rush, particularly when it's nice weather, like it is now, I mean, nice-ish, not freezing weather. When it's not freezing weather, I'll just quickly do the rattle cans because they're faster. But when it isn't, I'll prime with airbrush 100% of the time. So that's like half the year. Just priming with airbrush.
Yep.
And then doing glow effects with airbrush. And then doing effects like when you have a model and you paint all of their different parts and you're like, this looks good, but it doesn't look right. You could use so you could do it by hand or you could do it by airbrush. You use one color across it as to bring out the contrast. So you do it like as a shadow, and this one color across all the different colors, if it's pale, if it's transparent enough, will not be visible, but it will just enhance the appearance. Like blush, it will enhance the appearance of what's already there, and the airbrush is great for that.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Well, this feels like a great segue. Would you like to review some of the sweet models that people shared on my Facebook tonight?
Absolutely.
Let's check out what we got.
Looking at pretty models.
Oh yeah, there's some cool stuff. What we got? Let's start with Dexter posting. He does so many beautiful terrain pieces. Last time he had this big lighthouse.
A lighthouse
that he had made.
Oh yeah.
So,
Love that brick. That
So,
stonework.
Yeah, brickwork. Thanks.
all of this like carved in stuff again. I don't know how long it takes him, but it looks gorgeous. There you go. There's the top down. So you can see it's quite a sizable piece. So obviously you can still use foam and plastic card and it still works
There's
just
some
fine.
beautiful pieces that are all done for foam. There's like a Facebook group that I look at sometimes, and they just do it on foam, and it's like, you're telling me that's not a real house?
Right. And then I think this is on just wood. It looks like that texture.
Chipboard, probably
Chipboard?
chipboard.
Okay.
Might be something really thin. Might be some Luan or something.
Looks like a cheese board.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh,
It's the right size.
Yeah, his lighthouse was phenomenal. He does amazing stuff for Blood and Plunder.
Look at that. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, southern tip of Alabama.
Show off.
Let's see. Next, we've got Jerry in the house doing some. This reminds me of the alien from season 1 Star Trek.
I like that.
But he does.
Oh, you mean
amazing
like the Orion dancer?
Yes. Yes, I think that's right. But Jerry's really good at doing like amazing freehand work.
All that freehand business.
I'd love to. I should do that more often.
It's always impressive to see. It never occurs to me to do. It's actually one of the complaints I have about a lot of the 3D printed models or the STLs that you get now, where it feels like there's almost too much detail where you can't put in your own freeform stuff.
I have had busy miniatures, and sometimes it's like, this wouldn't have broken off if you didn't add it in the first place.
It's like sometimes sometimes higher details can, make like somebody had mentioned the slap chop stuff or washes. It can make those really do a lot of work, but other times it just makes the model too busy.
Yeah, it makes dry brushing really well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But it doesn't open up possibilities for cool stuff like this girl's leg.
Yeah, which she said that the sarong isn't even part of the model, but it works, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Got some sort of more classic fantasy fairy girls.
Really like the one on the right for some reason. Yeah.
Reminds me of a statue like over a fountain. It's got that type of color that has a turquoise to it. It's really pretty.
Oh.
Do you know
then-
the rules for painting
Yeah, that's cool.
topless miniatures on YouTube? Because I've got some really pretty nude, well, not nude, but they are
Tastefully nude.
like they're the Beastarium are partially nude models, and I'm like, I'd love to paint them, but wait, are they going to take
I
them on
think as long as
video?
there's no nipple, you
I
tend
think
to
you
be
can-
okay.
You can go in and manually age restrict it somewhat.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mean like if I just do censored
No, no.
Instagram?
No,
Put a
it's
black bar across it. I feel like you're
I did that. I
losing
did
it.
that on Instagram actually. If you go into my Instagram, you have there are these models from Kingdom Death that I did. That are these statues, but they're fully nude.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
they looked really cool. So it was funny because like the main photo of it, you look at it and it's just like 5 black boxes, and then you go to the next. I'm like, just so you know, if you turn to the next page, they will not have the boxes.
No,
Yeah,
if
that works.
on YouTube you can actually self-select that there is like some nudity or whatever, and it'll just mean that anyone viewing it will have to be, I don't know, like verified. Like they'll have to be signed in order to view what you're like the video. But if you self-select it, I don't think you get in any trouble for that. I've seen a lot of videos. I've been researching and looking up a lot of the 1980s sword and sorcery movies and finding trailers for them. And so like a lot of the trailers just have nudity in them and stuff, but you have to, they won't play unless you're
Signed
logged in. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's
Sounds
just a
like it's
setting
pretty
whenever you upload a video, you can see in that little list of boxes that you have to tick before, that you agree to.
Yeah.
That's
Find
right.
one that actually mentions what's in it. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
One way to find out.
Yeah. Well, then
I'm
you
going
get,
to
like,
be painting them anyway. So.
yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
you get like my channel, it's full of video game violence, and YouTube's like, yeah, it's fine, just put it
Oh,
up
it
there.
does not care at all about video game violence. Like it just.
I love this.
I know this. Okay, so Shay.
Why does it look
It's
so
the Baba
familiar?
Yaga house.
That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this. Check in fate. Actually, no, this all looks amazing. Like we've got all kinds of little details in here.
This
The
is
patch
great.
roof and the iconography
Wow.
and the painting on here. Dang, look at all this debris.
That looks cool.
And then
Looks like the one out of Hellboy.
it does. I mean, it's a more classic Baba Yaga, right?
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
It's
No,
not quite the epic Scrapjack.
I love Old Witch too. I do, and Scrapjack. It's wonderful. It's one of my favorite models ever. That and the Clockatrice, and the Warhorse, the from the Nayslayers. Oh yeah, all of the Grimkin models were just wonderful. But
I do love the
yeah,
Grimkin.
I love this sloping roof, like just the shape language of it. I guess it's really really cool. What's going on in the corner here? Okay, so there's like a tree kind of growing out from that too.
They just sort of built the house onto the tree that was already growing.
Yeah, that is incredible.
I love that.
Oh, and here's the inside. So that opens,
Yeah.
and now you can.
Awesome.
So there's the fireplace.
Are they going to role play with it? That would be such a great steed for your whole party.
This is how we travel. It's incredibly conspicuous.
Is it Hal's Stomping Castle?
My
Hal's
players,
Strutting Castle?
my players traveled by 7-foot bunny rabbit once. There are still tales to this day about the horror of that day.
Are they fluffy tails?
Yeah.
Oh, it's mid-walk. Okay, so it's lifting its
That's
foot up.
great.
Wow, yeah. Oh man, and there's the porch and everything. Oh, and there's like an eyeball. Oh my god, this house is crazy. Huh?
And reminds me of when I
Fantastic.
did your that house model for your Grimkin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Old Witch too.
Mm.
Yeah, she's great.
Was that the Old Witch?
No, that
No. That was
Witch lady.
that was
Oh,
Grimkin.
you're thinking
Grimkin,
of the
I
witch.
No,
which
it's
house?
Brimkin, and it's an actual.
It's just a house.
Yeah, it is just a house.
Slaughterhouse. It's called a
The
slaughterhouse.
slaughterhouse. Okay, yeah. Like, it reminds me of when I got to do that. That was fun.
I like the addition of purple to
Playful.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's smooth.
That looks fantastic.
So this is
Smooth.
Thomas. Thomas Grable does amazing
course.
work.
that's Agnes.
This is Agnes.
I like
Yeah.
Agnes.
She just like you feel like
She can get things done.
yeah, she does look like she gets things done. You don't really argue with her for long, but she feels like a comic book character, you know, like those kind of poppy colors, great highlights, like there's a lot of vividness to it. I really appreciate.
Yeah, I
Am I
really like
allowed
the
to be
highlights.
amused? So that's my grandmother's name as well.
Oh, he's great. These
He's
are fun.
adorable.
This one's
Love his little striped
in
pants.
progress.
He has
Looks
pinstripe
good.
pants.
Oh my
Or not
goodness! Oh
pinstripe.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I
getting all
like
those little
those.
warts and growths.
That is one cool pirate.
Excellent work, Thomas. I know you shared a few here, so we've got this lovely
Oh
lady.
my gosh. What are with these ladies?
This
Little
is War
trollkin.
Machine. Yeah, the Trollkin. They know
I
what's
really
up.
like the purple added with that blue. That's so realistic.
Yeah, that looks good. It gives a good skin hue.
Yeah, it is impressive for that. I mean, it looks healthy here, but you could see where you could make it like more sickly looking if you wanted to use those same colors, right?
Well, it's just that one of the a lot of people seem to have problems with skin is that they forget that underneath that skin, the skin's most is transparent, and you should be able to see their blood in some places coming through, and that's what I'm getting that impression there, and doing it in an alternative color than skin colored.
Right. No,
Well,
traditional.
and like depending on the color of the skin, also the light that reflects off of it can reflect all sorts of colors.
Well, but also the
So,
purple. I mean, if you
that's a
think about it, if
purple
it's a
liquid.
red blood underneath a blue skin, it would be a purple.
Right? That's
look
why I
that came
appreciate it
through.
so much.
Ooh, Jeremy's coming back. I think I might be too, to be honest. Like, I feel excited about what's
To be fair, if you got like Naomi, if you printed some of them, you could put them on that ship Archon Studio sent you.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the
They
detail on his
great.
hands. No, yeah.
And I backed them, so I'm going to have another ship.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Nice.
And I'm not painting the prototype until I have the actual one, so that I can show off like the differences between here's this prototype and here's what they've improved on. Not that I really need to improve because their prototype that they keep reminding me was just a prototype is like a completely finished ship as is.
Oh my goodness.
It's a really cool video though. Yeah.
Thank you.
Look at the rust going on with the top of this blade
Yeah,
here.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like
I
his
like
little
the,
sword a lot.
Ah.
The non-metal metallic, I think I see.
Yeah, really popular class to take, I've learned, is non-metallic metal. I don't take anything away from it, but I don't necessarily understand why it always has to be non-metallic. Like, I'm perfectly happy to just take a metallic paint. And just
Me as well, so much faster. I appreciate the idea of the non-metal metallic, particularly since I had to do it so often with more classical paintings, 2D paintings, not 3D paintings.
Yeah.
But I like to get things done a little faster, and you
Well,
cannot do
when doing commissioned work,
metal fast, but it does look so good.
it looks amazing. But like for me, because I'm doing commissioned work, you cannot take that much time unless you want to really up the price that you're charging for the work.
Well, it's an interesting flex. Like, are you really getting that much more out of it? And I don't know. Like, that, I just asked that genuinely. Like, I have no idea if that's just more satisfying.
In a way, you are. I mean, if you look at his cleaver there, it has the highlights on the edge and the darkness in the middle.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes back to kind of the stuff I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's almost that old school Games Workshop did it too, where it's that painted on kind of chrome look. You know, where you can paint the reflections into the metal. So you can choose where your highlights are and stuff like that in the metal to give a cool, I'm trying to think of what you would even call it, but like the way those old logos were in like the old Sword and Sorcery movie logos or in like the old Games Workshop, like a lot of times heavy metal would be painted in that way that looks like it's chrome that's reflecting the land behind you. But it's a cool way to kind of control where you want your highlights to be instead of doing a metallic and letting the light just be wherever it is.
Naturally bounce where it is.
Non-metallic metal is you're not using metallic paints to paint
Yeah.
like a metal look. Instead, you're using regular paints to gradient and create that metallic look without
lots of layers.
Yeah, lots of layers. Very precise highlighting also, because if you put your highlighting in the wrong place, it does not look right.
Nope.
So it's just very, very manual. So if you could do it, it looks great. Otherwise, if you want to use metallics, by all means, do it.
Metallics get your models painted, and non-metal is for masterpieces of art.
There you go.
It looks
Yes,
really pretty.
I agree.
That's a good way of putting it. Awesome. Well, we're at 8. Well, a little later for you, I'm afraid. But
Yeah.
so we will wrap it up here. But Naomi, thank you so much for joining. And
Thank you
hanging out
again
on
for the
stream.
invite. It was a lot of fun chatting with you.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm done with
Any
that
fun
model,
videos
too.
to look forward to on your channel?
Yes. I can't decide which one is next, but it's probably I've got a lot. I've got a lot figured. I've got a lot on the way.
Okay, sweet. So keep an eye out
Including
for
painting
40
naked models.
That's right. Yes, that is correct.
Tastefully, though. Tastefully. Naked models.
So
Hello.
quickly, head all over to Naomi's
Tasteful
channel
areas.
for tastefully naked models.
Yes, they are nudists. That is all.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Naomi, thank you so much again. And we'll be hopefully chatting again very, very soon. All right.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
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 Barry, cover me.
All right, guys, this is it. Copy that.
No more sandwiches, Barry.
What's wrong with this place? I'm in the west corridor. I'm right outside the generator room. I'm out of bullets. Oh, Barry. Success.